All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're tackling a universal struggle that basically every IT professional faces at some point in their career. You know the one, that jarring, honestly kind of terrifying transition when you move from the safe, predictable world of textbooks into the wild, absolute chaos of real-world enterprise environments. We've all had that horrifying moment where the classic, well, it worked on my local machine excuse just doesn't fly anymore because actual revenue is on the line. So we're going to explore a curated collection of knowledge from a platform called System Admin Mastery, which is dedicated entirely to solving this exact problem. So why exactly does theoretical textbook IT rarely match the sheer chaos of a live production server? Well, if you've ever been in the trenches, you already know the feeling. Literally, every system administrator knows that unique stomach-dropping panic of a production server crashing, right at the exact moment you realize your isolated, perfectly controlled lab knowledge has completely failed you. Textbooks just assume perfectly functioning networks and predictable traffic. But live production? Yeah, live production is pure chaos. There's an incredibly stark contrast between these two worlds. On one side, we have the safe, highly controlled space of theoretical learning. Studying for exams, building isolated virtual labs on your laptop, that sort of thing. But then you hit the real world, the unforgiving, high-stakes arena of a true enterprise IT environment. This is where scaling issues hit you in real time. It's where actual customer data is at risk, and honestly, where there is zero margin for error. And that brings us to this mission statement from the System Admin Mastery platform. It says they exist to bridge the gap between theory and real-world enterprise IT by providing practical knowledge that professionals can apply immediately in production environments. This really stood out to me. It's the core thesis, the whole shebang, for what we're unpacking today. They aren't just teaching theory to help you pass a certification exam. They are laser-focused on delivering practical, actionable knowledge that you can take and apply to your production setups right now without second-guessing if it's going to break under pressure.
Moving into Section 1, Mastering System Administration, an undiscovered gem.
Now, I was actually pretty surprised to find that the platform currently hosts just 5 modules. And hey, don't let their humble beginnings of having just 4 subscribers fool you. That number 5 represents 5 highly concentrated, enterprise-grade deep dives uploaded to tackle massive, complex IT challenges. It's a textbook, well, actually anti-textbook, example of quality over quantity. They are actively cutting out the fluff to give engineers exactly what they need. All right, Section 2, IT Foundations and Security, the bedrock. Look, before you start dealing with massive cloud deployments, you absolutely have to secure your bedrock. These 2 foundational topics, core banking system fundamentals and Linux file permissions, are absolutely critical starting points to move beyond the theory. Think about it. You've got the massive systemic architecture of banking on one hand and the granular essential security controls of Linux on the other. Both are completely indispensable to enterprise IT. Diving into the first one, their oldest and most viewed module is fascinating. It's a nearly 18-minute deep dive into the high-stakes backbone of global finance, core banking system fundamentals. When we talk about production environments where failure is simply not an option, core banking is the ultimate example. Grasping the fundamentals here really trains an engineer to think with a strict, zero downtime mindset. On the flip side, they also offer a super focused 2-minute breakdown on Linux file permissions. So why is something so basic so crucial? Because in the real world, massive security breaches almost always start with a simple misconfiguration of file permissions. This quick explainer teaches the essential security gatekeeping required to prevent, a localized minor mistake from snowballing into a full-scale enterprise disaster. It's practical, immediate security applied at the absolute lowest level.
Next up, Section 3, Cloud and Virtualization Essentials, time to scale up. To truly understand their practical approach to scaling, we've got to look at the magic behind horizontal pod autoscaling, or HPA. This is a highly complex concept that they masterfully demystify in just under 10 minutes. In a textbook, you learn what a server is, but in an enterprise environment, you have to learn how to make thousands of virtual containers automatically multiply themselves based on real-time, completely unpredictable user traffic. That's exactly the headache HPA solves, and it's a total game changer for application stability.
Alongside the automated scaling of HPA, they also tackle virtual machine essentials, specifically HPE Morpheus, in about 9 minutes. Virtualization is literally the absolute workhorse of the modern data center. By focusing specifically on HPE Morpheus, they're equipping systems engineers with the exact practical knowledge needed for immediate production use. It lets you manage complex, hybrid cloud environments with total confidence. Moving on to Section 4, the DevOps approach, reaching a global audience. What really stood out to me here is the realization that technical mastery isn't just about English-centric tech jargon. Their most recent upload is a 6.5-minute DevOps explanation presented entirely in Amharic. I mean, how cool is that? It's incredibly significant because it highlights a deep commitment to breaking down complex, transformative IT methodologies for a truly diverse audience. Think about it. DevOps is literally about breaking down silos between development and operations. Presenting this in Amharic effectively breaks down language silos, proving that enterprise IT mastery is absolutely a global pursuit.
Putting this all together reveals the complete heavy-hitting curriculum they've built so far. We go from a 17-minute deep dive on core banking right down to a punchy 2-minute recap on Linux security, scaling all the way up through virtualization and cloud autoscaling, and then rounding it out with a multilingual DevOps philosophy. It maps out exactly how much time you need to invest, which, by the way, is just under 45 minutes total, to start transforming those theoretical concepts into hard, actionable skills. And finally, Section 5. Ready for production. Let's get into our final takeaways. Looking at the content they've carefully curated, a really clear 3-step roadmap emerges for us. First, you absolutely must grasp the foundations. I mean, you can't build a secure enterprise without mastering things like Linux security and understanding core systems like banking infrastructure. Second, you have to master virtualization, understanding how to actually allocate and manage resources through platforms like HPE Morpheus. And finally, you implement automation, using tools like HPA to handle massive traffic spikes and embracing a global DevOps culture. By following these structured steps, any IT professional can systematically transition straight into production readiness. So, as we wrap up this explainer and you look critically at your own skill set and you think about the chaotic, high-stakes environments you manage every single day, I want to leave you with one vital question to think about. When the system inevitably goes down, and we all know it will, and the pressure is really on, are you relying on the safety of theory or are you truly ready for production?